I mean, this is going to make E.T. look like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you guys asked for it, and here we are, the Marvels. I had low expectations. I would have gotten this last week, but let's just say I don't give them my money. So getting this to you guys is a little tricky. It didn't happen in time. Friday was a travel day. Friday was off, Thursday travel day, so didn't get it done. I have spent the last 4 or 5 days with my fingers in my ears, not listening to anyone. The only thing I know is what Loki told me about the hammer. Glowing Purple, which I'm going to talk about. So, there's a lot of crazy stuff out there, a lot of crazy opinions and those kinds of things. But you guys want to hear me react. I know. I don't know. I watch it so you don't have to is like a thing, and I'm here for you guys. My expectations were because I couldn't watch Captain Marvel again, but I have watched everything. I have seen Miss Marvel, I've seen WandaVision, I've seen Secret Invasion. I know the original films. All this little lead up homework assignments that you needed to do, I've done. So they don't have anything on me. But with that said, we're going to put up let's put up some barriers here. We'll see. I don't expect the copyright to sort of like come down per se. But I don't expect them to be happy with me either. So, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, that'll work. So, anyway, so there we go. We have our movie up. We're going to go through parts of it for sure. Let me know if you can hear things, if we play sound in the chat. Let me know if you're out there. Let me know if you have comments or questions. If you've seen it, let me know. We might even open the door, let you come on up in here and whatever. So, It starts pretty generically with just some rando planet that we don't know anything about, like a moon, and yet they're just on it walking around. This is our main villain. She is a race and gendered swapped version of a villain in a comic book that nobody cared about. It's interesting that the way they play it is that she is I don't know, like the Ronin, the accuser inheritor, like she's the new version of that. And I found that just very weak. Like, why would she be the one that rises to the top? And they play it up a little bit as though she has this map, I guess, and they're trying to find this. They're finding the other bracelet. So they're not NEGA bands, but that's what they were in the comic books. They're called quantum bands in this. That's the one that Miss Marvel had and she got in the mail, which they make a reference to in this movie, which was so strange. But I don't know why, if they're able to track the one down the way they did, I don't know why they couldn't track the other one down to Miss Marvel. I actually thought, when I first watched this, I thought to myself, that's what's going to happen, that she's going to track the one, and then she'll track the other one to Miss Marvel, and in doing something that will trigger some of the stuff we saw in the trailers. So, but again, if you guys have seen this or you want to come in and talk about it with me, that's fine. I'll be more than happy. Just let me know. Shaggy's here. Hey, what's going on, brother? Great to have you with me. PJ, hey, brother. Good to see you too. Thank you so much. The I watch it so you don't have to kind of thing is in full swing. We're going to go through this complete abomination of a film. Obviously from the box office numbers, because I joked about it being in the 35-40 range, did not ever think it would be that low, but there is no interest from the normies at work. There's no interest from people that I've interacted with. Like, this is a dead brand, and this film has very little to appeal to change that. So anyway, so our villain gets the band, she powers up, and then we cut to a montage sequence of Kamala Khan from the Miss Marvel show. I actually thought all of this, first off, I thought that it was fine that they were catching everybody up, but I couldn't believe they actually did it. Like, this was it's so weird and out of character for the rest of it. Look, see how they used the animation? This is the way that show had a lot of this. I still have a problem with all of this and this sort of like fan admiration of Captain Marvel. One, she's played up as being like 16, a driving age, or 15, 16, yet a lot of her behavior is like a 12-year-old. Like I don't quite get that contradiction. And I don't understand why she admires Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel has given no one any reason to admire her. So, this is such a senseless film to make. Who asked for this anyway? Look, PJ, I said the other film, whether we believe box office numbers or they paid for seats or however we want to look at it, it made $1 billion. There was going to be a Captain Marvel 2. I'm going to make a case as I go through this. I think this film has obviously got like a massive amount of more story that had been in place because there's a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't make any sense because it's been cut out. Like there's more stories or scenes. There really is room for a Captain Marvel 2. There's an event that's described in this movie. So again, massive spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, my point here is I'm here to spoil it for you so you don't have to watch this. Okay. So I'm going to watch it. I'm going to go through it. You don't have to sit through it. Do it with me. Hang out with me. But anyways, they're going to make money, right? So Dwayne's here. Hey, brother. Absolutely no intention of seeing this goofy, watered down version of a Freaky Friday. Yeah, it's a freaking mess, Dwayne. Well, I'm going to watch it so you don't have to. We'll run through it. Hopefully we'll have more fun hanging out together doing this than we would have if you had actually wasted your time and energy seeing it for yourself because it's a complete debacle. So you have this horrible Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel thing here with her fantasy and all that. And then it kind of cuts to her in the room. This is all the very end of the Miss Marvel show. She uses the power and then she swaps. So this is the very end of the, let's see, there was a season one. I know. I'm sorry about the graphics, guys. I'm here. I'll take the graphic down briefly just so you can see what I'm seeing. Okay. So what ends up happening is when she uses the power, because it's glowing. So what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to connect a lot of dots. We don't totally understand or have things explained to us on why this Freaky Friday, good reference, Dwayne, is even happening. But allegedly when she activates the other band, it's activating this band. So then what happens is if the people are using their powers at the same time, then what happened in the first movie happens again. They swap places. Captain Marvel is the one that wakes up. Now this is her. She somehow kept this is okay. So you had to watch Captain Marvel to even know what's happening in the scene. Nothing is really. Maybe there was a line. I don't remember it. But that is basically like the Kree torture memory brainwashing machine. And she's using it to like replay memories, which is supposed to catch the audience up on the first movie and who the relationships are. So it's going to show Maria Rambeau, which is her friend. It's going to show Jude Law briefly. That's Jude Law. And how she gets her powers with the exploding, which by the way, there's a lot of things in this movie which I'm sure people will have issue with, but they were actually in these newer comic books. So again, forget about Marvel, old school Kree and Skrull war stuff. Forget about Marvel. Forget about the transition in through like the Avengers with Monica Rambeau. No, forget all of that. Go to modern 2012 to 2014 to 2015 or 16, Kelly Sue DeConnick and others, they make her this like uber Mary Sue Superman. They rewrite all sorts of things. In the comic book that Kelly Sue rewrites, it's almost like a wishing machine thing. Like she just wants the power. And it's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. So there's the cat. So she's basically just sitting around rehashing memories. And I want to make note of that because of what happens later on. And then this is Nick Fury. Now, so this is another complaint that I have. And again, I haven't watched anybody's stuff. So if you guys want to say, hey, so-and-so brought that up or whatever, feel free to say that because I'll go watch their videos first before I move on to other videos because I don't know. I'm going to get my little notes. I'm going to make sure I have a way to take notes in case you guys say certain things. I don't know when this movie takes place. So it's clearly after Ms. Marvel, but I don't know if it's before or after Secret Invasion. So let's go through some spoilers for it. The premise of the movie is the big bad girl we saw in the opening scene. She's really mad at Captain Marvel. We're going to have a flashback later on, way later on, about after the victory on Earth, she goes to destroy the uber artificial intelligence things that runs the Kree planet, Hala. And by destroying that superior intelligence, it creates a new civil war, a power structure, a war breaks out. They destroy their planet, basically. So the water's not good, the air's not good, the sun's not working properly. I don't know what's called the sun. I don't know how any of that makes sense by the computer being destroyed, but that's the premise. And this woman that now has the hammer, the Ronin hammer, is the one that rose to the top. She's in charge now, and Lady Boss is now going to enact revenge. And part of this is that she's going to attack these planets that is tied to Captain Marvel's history and life, and it involves displacing Skrulls. So I don't know if this takes place before or after Secret Invasion, because it's going to come into play, a little bit later on. So this makes me want to go back and watch funny elements of the Johnny Depp. Well, that's way better than this movie for sure. So hey there, Dawn of Mutilation. Just in time. Hey, well, hail to you, my friend. Hail to you indeed. So Captain Danvers and Monica Rambeau don't deserve this kind of nonsense. Oh, you have no idea, Dwayne. Like, I was reading, because you turned me on to Avengers 255, which is this beautiful Monica Rambeau cover. And I was reminded about how much I liked Monica Rambeau in that era. And in this movie, she is so dumb and so girl bossy, and just, it's so stupid. So The Marvels is set post Secret Invasion. Okay. Well, that makes things worse. So again, I'm not going to worry about spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, I don't know what you're doing here, because this is me watching it, so you don't have to. So what we're going to get to, I guess I can move it around, right? Let me see what it'll let me do. Yeah, it'll let me do. Okay. So the girl boss attacks the planet where the Skrulls are, right? And they have to displace the Skrulls. So King Valkyrie shows up. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna put that up. You won't know what's there. So King Valkyrie shows up in her Men in Black costume, and because we didn't have enough, literally cue the Cartman, right? Put a girl in it, make it gay. Put a chick in it, make her gay. Like, if she shows up and saves all the Skrulls, takes them to New Asgard. Now, so if this is post Secret Invasion, then she's just adding more Skrulls to the world there, where they're now viewed as criminals, or like enemies of the state kind of thing, right? So I really don't understand how that makes any sense either, just so we're clear. Okay. What year is it in the movie? No idea. I have no idea. I don't know. Female Ronin. Yeah. Girl boss Ronin. Yeah. I don't even know what a good nickname is. She is so, I don't really know her information about her. Let me pull her up. I just don't know who she is much or anything really about her. So I'm going to talk bad about her. I guess I should probably try to learn, right? So she plays Darban. Her name is Zawe. Is that how you say it? Zawe Ashton. She doesn't do it for me. She's been in a bunch of stuff I'd not really heard of. Nope, I got nothing. Greta, I'd heard of that. Didn't watch it. And a whole bunch of TV I probably haven't watched. So the direction is awful for her character. Just awful. So, hey, Penny, how you doing? And they put a chick in it, make her gay and lame. Yes. Shieldwall, hey, brother, what's going on? Ronina, maybe. That's not bad. I don't know. So, before we get there, though, we're back here. So, again, we have Girl Boss. Miss Marvel uses her powers, flies into the wall, just like we saw. Carol's reliving memories. And then she's talking to Fury, who is completely incompetent, and they're in space. And then suddenly there's a hole. So the premise of the movie is that when Girl Boss Ronin found the hammer, for some reason, and I'm sorry, when she found the bracelet. When she activates the bracelet, for some reason, we now have these jump point holes, and they're not closing. Now, I thought this was part of what the whole, because in Secret Invasion, they've created this thing in the space station, the sword station. He's supposed to be monitoring all of this, and I don't totally understand. And again, if it was explained, it's not explained so well, because it doesn't make sense. Whatever they're going to do, they're going to contradict, right? But there's a hole in the time-space continuum. It's tied to whatever the purple glow is, whatever has been going on. And Captain Marvel's tracing it back to where they found the bracelet. So when she shows up there, and meanwhile, whatever research they're doing, where Fury is and Monica Rambeau is, they start acting, and this is what I said about Monica Rambeau being dumb. Monica Rambeau got her powers by walking through Scarlet Witch's force field at the end of in WandaVision, right? So she kind of walks through there, girl bossing her way into powers, right? It's like see and manipulate light, that kind of thing. And I would think by now the girl would be a little more hesitant about touching crap. I mean, that's just me, you know. So her and Carol are on opposite places, and they're both touching the same thing. So they're seeing the power energy where the bracelet was, and they're seeing this new power thing right where Fury and them are. And so again, activate two at the same time, bloop, 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 and they switch places. That's pretty much what ends up happening. So that's the premise. This is what is sort of a side effect, if you will. And this is them. So Carol's thrown into Kamala's room. That's at the end of Ms. Marvel. And let me get past this. And because Kamala is in the suit. See, there's Kamala Khan. So let me say this too about Aman Vellani. Is that how I say your name? Yeah, Aman Vellani. Aman Vellani is actually a decent actress in this. She like really does embody the character. It comes through pretty well. It is, she's at least sweet and nice. But she's also extremely cringy when she's fangirling. It's just awful. So anyway, let me see. Shieldwall Darben is the weakest backstory. You really don't know who she is, and by the end, you don't even care. Okay, well, Sheila, if you watched it, you want to join me, feel free to let me know. Give me a little thumbs up or something. Yes, plug me in or something like that. I'll shoot you a link. We'll do that. In the comics, Monica was a cop, and her introduction is Spidey Annual by Roger Stern, Romita Jr., and John Sr. Yeah, she is not a cop. She is dumb as a brick in one hand because she does stupid, crazy, dumb things. And then she's like super science genius. She will see something and she spouts off random physics mumbo jumbo, kind of like in the vein. I was reminded of like when I would watch so look, Big Bang Theory to me is like blackface pop culture. Like it's kind of pop culture-y, but it's not. And they'll throw sciencey stuff out there, but it's not really like legit stuff. It's like a lot of Wikipedia level type stuff. It's not good. So I feel like that's what it was. So this is there looking at a face hugger egg and wondering what. Yeah, kind of plot hole in the space-time continuum. Yeah, it's like a little anus. What was that anus joke in the Ragnarok movie or whatever? Yeah, it's kind of how it is. So they switch places and it's like gag, Marvel joke, switch places. So this is Carol looking around Kamala's room because she's obsessed. Again, we don't know why she's obsessed because if we take this with what happens later on, because her and Monica haven't seen each other, they're at odds because she never did come home to visit. I'll be back just a minute, and she never came back. But she has been to Earth like multiple times because she was there during the battles on Earth during Endgame. She showed up at the funeral. There's insinuations by the art and stuff like that she has been around in this world where Miss Marvel has seen her, yet she never went to go visit Monica or Rambeau. So I don't know what's going on. They want stuff to happen, but they don't really make sense of it, or they cut stuff out. So anyway, so she comes walking out, and see the overacting with the eyes. Like I want to say in some ways she is better in this movie, in other ways she is not better. See how they have her overacted it? I thought at first maybe. Well, see, Kamala talked in the other scene. So I thought when I saw this in the trailer, I thought, oh man, I wonder if like Kamala, it's like they were changing spirit. They weren't actually changing places, but because of the overacting in the eyes. But I think it's maybe it's just terrible. So anyway, Kamala's family is in this movie way too much. They're terrible. They're literally in some of the fight scenes and stuff. It's awful. So she's there, walks down the steps, and then it doesn't take long for something to happen. And then bloop-de-bloop, she's blipped away. And now she's back on that moon where the bracelet thing is. And now she's being attacked by some of the Kree soldiers. Yeah. Let's see. I'll get you that shield wall. Get you the link for sure. Actually, you know what? I'll just put it in the chat. I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me too much if anybody comes in. If they don't want to behave, they won't be able to stay in. That's all there is to it. So that way I don't have to worry about trying to track down Twitter and whatever. So feel free to hop in. So we can just jump around a little bit if you want, guys. It's not like this is a complicated story or anything like that. It's so bad because about anytime they do these things, like they bloop around and they have this battle, and then they're gonna just have stuff happen. So they bloop her around till they get her to where they want her to be, but it's never like really thought out. So there he is. How you doing, brother? What's going on?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I can.
All right. Yeah, I just want to make sure my mic worked and stuff. Yeah. So this was better than Kenobi. I can say that the Kenobi D plus TV show. Not by much, but it was still better.
Different. It's a different kind of bad for me. Like so, this was. Man, it's tough because the first part of the film with the pacing, it moves pretty fast. It's just chaos and it's stupid, but at least it's moving fast. I wasn't going to fall asleep. I fell asleep in Eternals. Like I nodded off, bro. So Eternals is still to me worse than this film was because of that. Like it's just like I can't justify 2+ hours. Like it wasn't like 2:15 or 2:20. I can't imagine watching that again. I wouldn't want to watch this again. I'm not planning on watching this again. But if you were like torturing me to pick one, I think I would watch this even over Captain Marvel because Captain Marvel just makes me angry. This was these like stupid fun for an hour and a half.
It is, and the thing about it is that you're right. Eternals is I never really care to see this movie again, but I for sure don't want to watch Eternals again.
Yeah, I'm just not watching that movie.
Yeah, it was terrible, and you're absolutely right. The beginning of this movie, I don't know if it's because of the strike or whatever, but it feels like the editing was really weird. Like because when they start switching powers, they're jumping around so much, it's hard to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah, this first section, it's just so here's what I heard. I heard the first cut was well over 2 hours long, and then it was an hour and 45 minutes long. The ultimate version is like an hour, right at 90 minutes, and that was credits. So I think there's so many of these things where maybe they were explained in some version of the script, but it's all fallen to the bottom. I
really get that feeling like if you release the air quote Snyder cut, it might be a better movie. And
Lord help us, oh God.
But well, because I think that Brie Larson tried to give a better performance. It's just that the basic story is nonsense, really. Like
they tried to make her character more likable, right? I mean, that was as clearly like her Captain Marvel. Part of the reason I can't stand this movie, I can't get through because I tried to watch Cannoli Sasquatch had a stream where they rewatched the whole video. I've watched it 4 or 5 times for like X amount of time. Like I know I can only last like a few minutes with their rewatch of it because it's so bad. And Brie Larson is like this angry twat waffle running around with a scowl on her face, right? So in this movie, she's not like that, at least not mostly.
Right. Her only weakness in the first movie is men telling her to smile. That destroys her completely. So, but I just get I get the feeling that there was more to it because the way that when they start using their powers and teleporting around, I get the feeling that there was more to it. Like I understood what was happening, but if you didn't watch any of the D plus TV shows, you had to watch a primer on, I don't know, Wikipedia or something to figure out.
How would you even know who Monica Rambeau is? At least with Miss Marvel, they gave you a little bit of a precursor. You went into the Marvels thinking it's Captain Marvel 2, so you probably know who Captain Marvel is. You've seen her in some other movies. You understand at least kind of what you've been told is her power set, right? They gave you a Miss Marvel primer, so you at least have something. You didn't know that was her parents, but you assume those are her parents. But Monica Rambeau, Space Station, if you didn't watch Secret Invasion, you have no idea what's going on, who anybody of these people. WandaVision and Secret Invasion set up the Sword Station and Monica Rambeau. So
you can muddle through it if you don't know who any of the characters are. You can just okay, this is a person, and if you watch the movie, by the time you get to the end, you kind of get a clue to who they are. But I think you're right. There's a longer version where more of this is expounded upon, so that it makes sense more.
Hmm. Hmm.
But
Okay.
there's so many like jumping around, and then you're right. I like Kamala's family. They just don't need to be in this movie that much, doing the
Yeah,
stuff
it's a
that they're
lot.
doing. It
Yeah, there's a
is.
lot. Yeah, usual cherry picking, no story structure. Yeah, there's no story structure at all. Like they're going to contradict their story even in the story. So the power thing we're talking about, which we'll get to, we'll come back. Let me get the other chat here. Make sure I got caught up. Let's see. Red face, droopy eyes. Yeah, yeah. I fell asleep during Suicide Squad 1. It was like watching Christmas lights blink and go out. Wow, wow, Dwayne. Yeah, I didn't. That one didn't lose me. I actually think that was not. It was awful. It was bad, but I actually always hoped there was an Ayer cut, Ayer. I think
Right,
he said
right.
David Ayer, because I actually thought there was a good movie in there somewhere. So we'll take a break from this because that will keep us from getting the copyright nonsense. So let's talk about this power nonsense, right? This blipping thing that they do. So the bracelet activates this power. It connects to the other bracelet. So now she uses her power the exact same time as one of the other two. I don't know why all three of them are totally connected. Like it doesn't make total sense to me. And why they're flipping. Why does the she Ronin not also flip if she's got a bracelet on? They don't explain it. Just you're just observing things happening and
Mhm.
you're trying to figure it out with the characters, right? That was my
Right,
takeaway.
right. Exactly. So Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau, they touch this portal that
Hmm. In
Dar-Ben, I
two different
believe.
places, there's a
Right,
portal, right? They touch
right.
at the same time,
And
right?
it's the same thing in Guardians of the Galaxy. They used to like teleport around the
Hmm.
universe, and so it's a known technology, and apparently it was created with the bracers. That the bracers are a
Okay.
Kree technology or an ancient one technology, and they use those bracers to actually create that whole network. So how that one got in that statue that she broke, and how Kamala's grandmother got it in, you know, the area that is now known as Pakistan back in the 40s, nobody knows. You got to watch the show. There, it's an ancient thing. They find it. So
That they try to make a backstory with it. They create a
right,
lot. First off, a lot of people have talked about the show being bad or no one watching it. It was not the worst of the D plus shows. It's probably among the better because of the family element, and it's a kid trying to have powers. It's not
it
her
was.
fault. They mailed them to her. It's just very MVP gets all the credit from me.
Yeah,
He called it Lizzie McGuire. And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, that's it. It's like a Lizzie
It's
McGuire level of superhero show. It's nothing. It's just dumb. It's
to
just
me, her
terrible, but it's
show
not.
is like the Andor of this the Star Wars stuff, where it's not the worst out
Right.
of them. And
Yeah.
anyway, so those bracers are linked to that ability. Why? You're absolutely right. Why uh, Lady Ronin doesn't get swapped with all three of them somehow, but I think it has to do with their powers are based on light. Now, of
Mm.
course, they changed Miss Marvel's powers in the comic book. She had like a stretchy ability. She can make her
Yeah,
hands
she's
real
too much like
big.
Mr. Fantastic.
Right.
They didn't want her to be
Yeah.
confused with that in the movies because that's basically her powers in the comic book. And
There.
and so people know the comic book. It's so absurd. There's an issue where she literally is around like a giant gear. Like her whole body is wrapped around this giant gear, like a rubber band would be. It's like there's crazy stretch. She makes all those fists, like those are
Mhm.
her body stretching and forming those things.
And
They
she,
turned her into a Green Lantern though. I don't know why we did that, but that was
well,
what they did.
she's not even really a Green Lantern because she can't make very complex shapes with her ability. She can make a fist and stuff, but Green Lantern, he can make like anti-aircraft gun
Yeah.
turrets and all kinds of
Well,
crazy.
we think. I mean, would you be shocked if Miss Marvel season 2 happened and they make her make an aircraft carrier? I wouldn't be shocked, right?
I wouldn't be shocked either, but right now
Yeah,
her powers are very rudimentary, and the
right.
same as with Monica Rambeau's, and honestly, almost with Captain Marvel's, is they're not clearly defined. So at certain points, they can just kind of do whatever they want with them.
Did you
But
think they leveled down? Sorry, did you think they leveled down Carol Danvers in this? I thought they kind
absolutely,
of like
they've ruined
way
her
leveled her
character.
down compared to what she's because she flew through the Chitauri ships and stuff
Yeah,
at the end of Endgame. I mean, it was like, holy crap! If they called her for New York, it would have lasted 5 minutes, and
the
now suddenly she's able to not get beat down by the freaking girl Ronin. This is
Right.
nuts.
If Girl Ronin is powerful enough to hurt or defeat uh, Carol Danvers, then the other two characters, maybe I don't know really all of Monica's Rambeau's powers, but for sure Kamala's powers, there's no way. It's kind of like playing Dungeons and Dragons where you have like this really powerful player character, and in order to challenge it with a monster, the game master has to put something so dangerous that it'll kill the rest of the party just to hurt this one person in the group. It's kind of the same concept. Like if she hit Kamala with this hammer, unless Kamala is way more powerful than we've ever known, um, with these light powers she has from this one bracer, I, it, that's what kind of is offsetting about the movie. I have a whole
Mm.
diatribe I can go on about how Carol Danvers' character, I think, was misused,
Oh yeah,
misrepresented,
yeah. I don't want to.
underutilized.
Yeah, because those
Yeah,
are videos for different.
yeah,
Because
underutilized.
we can go down a rabbit hole for sure with this kind of stuff. But anyway, so here. This is again. Let's go to the secret invasion conversation, right? Tarnax. This is a refugee colony for the Skrulls. So my presumption was this is pre-secret invasion, but it's not because there's like negotiation with the Kree, and then Girl Boss shows up and she's like, no. Well, at first she's yes. Right, because at first she's like, yes, we're gonna work it out. We're gonna work out. By the way, she just looks terrible.
It,
I'm sorry, it looks absolutely awful.
so the whole premise of why she's mad is that their planet of Hala was basically rendered almost uninhabitable by a civil war that happened.
Yeah, I
And
briefly touched on the spoiler alert of Carol at the end of the first movie. Sometime between then and now, had gone back and destroyed the Supreme Intelligence AI, and that thrust into just a power structure. A chaos breaks out, right?
Right.
And then in their own battle, they destroy the Hala. They ruin the water,
it's
they ruin
not
the
just
air, they
that,
ruin whatever.
it also destroyed their sun, which
Correct,
that's
right, yeah.
the critical part. Like I can understand maybe they had some kind of like thermal nuclear war on their planet that boiled away the seasons, but I don't know how you destroy your own sun in a civil war. Like what's the point? Who was doing whatever? But so that's what she wants, is to rebuild the planet. Now, when I first saw this, I thought she was coming here to steal their planet. Because that
Yeah,
would make
we
most
don't.
sense.
We're piecemealing together what her motivations are. Because then we have because it gets interrupted with the blipping. So what they do with the blipping, because Carol had gone there to investigate, and they use their powers, so that means Kamala shows up. So this is the scene that we saw in the trailer. So I guess everywhere Carol goes, she brings the cat, right? So Goose the cat goes with Carol, and she blips and the cat stays. So now whenever the guards showed up, the cat swallows the
Talk about
guards.
really quickly about the Flerkens, and I guess that's what their like genus is, race, whatever you want to call it. If you notice, she's like flying around places with no spacesuit on, and apparently the Flerkens can exist in a vacuum, or they have some other means of breathing or life support, because it just sits on her shoulder wherever she flies through the universe or whatever. And for those that don't know, the Flerken has these tentacles that come out of its mouth, and
We're going to see it. There we go.
Yeah, it'll grab stuff, and I guess it has an extra dimensional space inside itself that can hold things. So it's like the TARDIS. They're
and they're not harmed evidently inside of them. And they set that up. I know people are probably going to criticize this, but they're going to. So the Flerken Goose gets these guards, and just know it absorbs them in its body, in its interdimensional space. Because there's going to be a lot of cats in this movie. So spoiler alert, a lot of cats. A lot of girls, a lot of cats. Just so you know. Nothing to read between the lines there. So make sure I didn't miss anything here with... Kamala is an artist that got energy band powers that respond to her will. Can we all say Kyle Rayner? Yeah, I mean, it's I understand what Shield Wall's saying. They just haven't done. They basically make it seem as though she's able to project like platforms and very, very minor things. So I'm actually, because we've changed her power set radically from the comic book. I would be shocked if she's like, you mean I could do this all along? It's like she hasn't been told. Like it's because she's a teenager, she's young and a novice. They just haven't done it, but we'll see. Could you imagine having Operation Galactic Storm even when Carol being center focus? Captain Marvel's sequel we could have gotten. Yeah, well,
So
these people never read that, Chris. So just so
if
you
you
know, they
remember
didn't.
the
Hey, Zach, how you doing?
ending of Miss Marvel in her show, the last like end credit scene is Carol Danvers being thrown into the closet and then coming out. So that
Yeah,
means
that was a scene earlier. Yeah,
that means that this movie is directly after that show. So she hasn't
correct.
really had any chance to like train with her powers or explore more than she has.
Yeah, because most people haven't seen the show, she does learn how to do the energy projections for like platforms and a shield and the punching and things like that. Very primitive stuff, very generic stuff. But she hasn't really been like, and she has no mentor at this point. Like no one. She's got a whole bunch of people that know that she's Miss Marvel, but there's been no mentor trying to help her learn or anything like that. So,
and I'm trying to remember in the show if she learned like kung fu and gymnastics and stuff from some.
I don't know when she had time for all that. That's for sure.
But so later on in this movie, she's doing like some flips and kicking people and taking punches and stuff. Yeah. So again, her powers aren't like so is she indestructible now with the bracelet on? Like she can take hits to the face and it won't really hurt her. Can people shoot her and bounce and the bullets will bounce off? We don't know.
So this is what happens. So basically, again, so Carol was there. They bloop. I don't know what are we going to call this switcheroo. They blip their switcheroo. Then Miss Marvel's there. She sees the Flerken cat eat some Krees, and then they bloop again. And now Monica is there, and then Monica, I think, starts fighting them. Right? Yeah. Well, so she's just amazeballs. Like she can do somersaults and flipping and just all sorts of crazies. She didn't use her power. She's just able to do all that fancy maneuver.
Right, and you could. So from the first, from WandaVision to this time, not really sure much time has passed, but she could have reasonably trained and figured out some of her abilities and stuff up to this point to where, okay, that I can get that, right? And also these Kree warrior guys are terrible.
Oh yeah, they're reduced to worse than stormtroopers. They don't hit anything. Yeah. So they because Miss Marvel has now blooped back to her family's house. These are her parents. Like, tell me what's going on. Oh, by the way, so for those of you who've never watched the show, the use in their culture of like a girl, sweetie, baby, those kind of comments, they use the word beta. So the word beta is it's used all the time. It's in the show and it's here. It's like, what's going on? Baby beta, baby beta. It's like, oh God. So I don't mind the family from the family structure and a good family. They care about her and all that, but it's very overdone and there's a lot of it for sure.
Right. And I that was the best part of her show was her family dynamic. I mean, her dad is not a deadbeat. He's not overbearing. He's not like, giving her the back of his hand or anything like that. And he cares about what she wants. Maybe a little too much for, so that she can get in the amount of trouble that she does, is because they're letting her have a lot more latitude than maybe she would have had. But I liked their family dynamic. I thought it was fun. It's just, it doesn't make a lot of sense in this movie past this one scene that we're at right now. Like, they start showing up in the living room. That's fine. But it's after this,
it starts to get, So Zach, spoiler. Yeah, no hot dog fingers. Sorry, buddy. Sorry. Beta. Yes, beta. Yeah, beta. So okay, again, we switcherooed. Carol's with Nick Fury for a minute, and they're like talking this through. Don't totally know what's going on, and then they bloop again, and now I forget exactly where's the cat? Because the cat has to come into play for this scene to work. Let me see if I can get it to go right there. Oh, see, she uses her power, and she bloops. Okay, so remember the Kree that were in the cat, right? Isn't that how these Kree are in their house, right? when they come
Right.
out of the cat.
They
Yeah.
come
So
out
the
of the
cat
right.
spits him out.
Yeah.
The cat gets up on like a table or something and spits out the Kree, right? In the last sequence. And then Miss Marvel tries to use her powers. When Carol does, they bloop again. If you're confused already, what Shield Wall said was you're 100% right, because it's just chaos. There's just it's you feel like there was more script to make this feel smooth. Not that you can't follow it. Not that we're not retarded. And I will say the 17 minutes does go by rather fast. Like it's been 17 minutes, almost 17 and a half minutes. It does go by extremely fast. A lot is going on. The problem is it's just so disconjointed and inconsistent. Like it's hard for me to keep track of what the rules are. They're trying to figure out the rules too. But even that doesn't make sense to us at home, if that makes sense.
Right, and it's a little hard to follow because of the way they edited it, and because they edited it for time is our assumption for running time. Thank God, actually, is you wind up with this kind of jumping around. I guess if you just turn your brain off and try not to think about it, and you're like, okay, cool, they're jumping around. But even if you do that, there comes a point where whenever they start using their powers, and it mainly seems like Captain Marvel does it. If she activates her light powers, they all start switching. Is kind of how I saw it, and but
You're giving
eventually,
them a lot of latitude in your head canon with that. I think it's just all plot conveniences and stuff.
well, it
and
is plot convenience. But what
they
I'm
just
saying is
played with this. They played with whatever they filmed and they pieced this together. And whatever the rules were, let's just give them a benefit of the doubt and say someone wrote some rules, and now it's just a discombobulated mess of what actually made it to the final cut.
My problem is that I was trying to figure it out real quick. So like I was trying to figure out, okay, what's going on. But you that's the problem with the movies. You kind of don't really. Now maybe somebody in the chat or somebody that has more knowledge can explain it and say, oh, well, this is what really happened. All I'm telling you is when I was in the theater, I couldn't figure it out. And so, maybe
that plays out a little bit, Zach. Like this was definitely a large part of the show was how progressive they were. Like they were really trying to fit in. They were sort of like, I felt like this is sort of like the religious and name only thing. Like there's certain practices that they do, but they're not like really staunch or anything like that. So, yeah, you kind of have to roll with that kind of stuff. But it's to me, I agree with what Shield Wall was saying earlier about like having the family in this scene, which is really dumb for me. Like I just really hated them. Like see him throwing stuff in the background or whatever and things like that. And then she just starts destroying the house. Like she's throwing them through things. I think at one point she throws them through the roof. Yes. See, the mom's hitting one with a lamp or whatever.
And the dad is like,
she throws him
with a pillow.
And Carol threw one through the roof. She's like destroying their house. And look at the Kree. The Kree knocked her down with that. So we have had a major power down from the character that took a face punch from freaking Thanos, man.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It is completely a slap
arbitrary
in the face to Thanos and anybody that Thanos knocked down, like Thor or I don't know. It just.
So you used your powers, so they blooped, and now you have Captain Marvel switches with Miss Marvel. She's there blocking and trying to hold her own. I think this is what you're saying too, Sheila. This is where suddenly she's able to do some martial arts maneuvers and shenanigans. Well, she blooped. I'm sorry, she bloops, and she's back where the Kree are on the ship.
Now,
this is where it gets so. I don't say it's confusing. I don't even know the right word of like why we're having a hard time with everything. Because we can follow what's going on, obviously. Because they blooped again. Now she's with the space station. These are 10-second jumps, guys. If you understand how fast this is, it's just like this happens, this happens, this happens. It just keeps going.
And that's what's to me is so jarring is how they don't have enough time to. They're in the middle of like a fight, right? And they'll bloop, but it's like they're connected and already know what to do next. Like if you were to just appear suddenly, you'd be like, "What am I doing? Why am I in midair in mid punch?" And how do you land that and make it make sense? And I guess we're overthinking it, but that's what comic book people.
Well, I don't. Again, I think this is why the script is such crap because there's no real. You're not giving the audience enough information to go on a journey for you. Like you're just not. It's just, and then this is what you're saying earlier about Miss Marvel. If we come from where she was at the end of her show to now, which is immediate, she suddenly can do all this. You're like, what the heck? When did this class take place? Like I was checked out for a moment. I was just like, okay, hold on a minute. Why is she able to just take down these adult male Kree soldiers? She's like this teenager with a bracelet. She has no training whatsoever. She's had this bracelet. What would you say the timetable is of Miss Marvel, the show? A few weeks? A couple weeks?
Yeah, maybe. Unless I'm remembering incorrectly, or
No, I think it's a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I think there's a time travel element that's squeezed in, but I don't think it messes up. She hasn't had enough time to be able to do all this.
no, and if there's some type of power transference, like when they do the snap, like they're like gaining knowledge from each other. I mean, none of that is ever explained. So it's just she's awesome because she's
She just does. Yeah, and then meanwhile, back on the ship, they're doing their thing. She's kind of cutting through them in some ways, and then other times she's struggling to deal with them. Which again, they just couldn't pick a lane on what they wanted to do. So again, I'll throw out if any of you do want to come in and hang out with us, we're more than happy to have you. So looks convoluted. It is very convoluted. It's fine. I can live with that. It's a good word for it. The director hasn't watched the other MCU movies. What's a Thanos? Does it come a vegan? Nia DaCosta. Oh my God. First off, I don't know what the actual quote. I've tried to alienate myself from taking in too much information because I know I'm going to be turned off. Nia DaCosta, I don't know what script she turned in. I don't know what writing credit she gets. I don't know if that's because she wrote stuff on the fly. It's a joke. This script is it's very, very childish. In other words, it's like I would liken this movie to Shield Wall as if our kids were playing with action figures and it was documented in film form. You know what I mean? Like action figures. All right, you got your kid playing there and they're just doing things. That's how I felt this film was for me. It's like it wasn't really a story exactly. It's like a series of events. This is kind of what happens and what the rules are. We're going to make up the rules as we go. It's like playing with the kid. You remember the kid we were playing with sports with and they changed the rules mid-game? It's like I feel like
you just described every D+ show I've seen.
I'm not saying this is unique.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is the same thing for the most part. I would say no. I got it wrong. I was trying to figure out which one was I would say the least contradictory of the MCU shows is probably Falcon and Winter Soldier. They don't contradict themselves as much or the rules. It's just dumb. Bucky struggles with the girls that are shot up with the serum. They're not trained soldiers, so that was really dumb. They really want to downplay him. Yeah, I don't know. You're right. It's just epidemic in all of Marvel and Star Wars. So.
The writing is all done for the next scene's convenience after.
Everything is all done. So I swear to God, if there's a single article blaming men for not seeing this movie, I'm going to snap after Brie Larson said the movie isn't for white men. Oh, I didn't know she said that again. Wow. Eesh. Wow. I tweeted this, General Vague. I tweeted, where's all the Barbie fans? Don't you guys want girl women power films? Like I thought this is what we were all told for all summer. Like this is what you guys want. It's the biggest movie of the year, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And yet you got this movie. You guys showed out and made like 40 million, had a terrible Monday. Where are you? This is your movie, isn't it? So great. We can't forget the writers and directors also have to work around the fight scenes Feige hands them. So Kevin is also Feige's culprit on everything for sure. So I don't think she said it again, but still, yeah. I don't know. So Joseph Carlson, hey, say what you will. The movie was fantastic. I haven't had so much fun actually watching a movie since OG Spider-Man, and it's a damn shame the theater was so empty. I will have to agree to disagree. Hang with me, Joe, and you can explain to us as we're going, like what are some of the things that work, because it didn't end up on screen. I'm seeing more. So was so lofty and impossible. A couple rough edits don't ruin it. Well, lofty and impossible. Okay. Back to the Future had a couple of rough edits too. 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Probably see it again. Okay. 8. Wow. There's no 8s, man. There's in the MCU, I might have a couple of 9s and 8s, but we are a way more generous critic than I am, Joseph. So to each their own.
I can see people enjoying like the fight choreography, and the CGI was not bad at all. I didn't think it was better than
There's some
Ant-Man.
rough. Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
So
mainly
let's
real
do
problem
comparison, right?
is
So
the story
it's
and the
not as
editing.
bad as Ant-Man or She-Hulk, but
Yes.
it's also not like good. So Loki, I think, is good. I don't know if anybody's watched Loki. I'm probably the only one. I got one more
I saw
video
it.
to do. I thought the CGI and the location shooting in Loki was fine. It's probably one of the better things at the Marvel side they've done. I think on the Star Wars side, Andor was fine. Obviously, a lot more on location shooting. What's the one they just did? Oh, Ahsoka. Ahsoka's a mixed bag. Yeah, there's good. There's some scenes that are fine,
Yeah.
some scenes that are bad. It's just again. You just don't even know who got what. It was a mess. So this kind of plays out. I think we just end up with like a lot of inconsistencies, power uses, which means we're going to bloop again. And now, so again, they cut to Monica, who's now battling the Kree in the living room and destroying the Khan house. And there's the family taking somebody out with a mop and a vacuum cleaner. And I literally thought to myself, is that actually happening? Is that a mop? Oh, okay. So
In a 1940s vacuum cleaner. I don't know where they got
yeah, it's like a really old vac. Okay. So Zach says it's awesome that you liked it. Joseph, we want you to like things. I mean, oh my God, you read me. I do appreciate it. Well, listen, Joe, listen, it's okay. You're allowed to like what you like. But we will come at you a little bit with why you like something. So you would have to defend or help us understand pieces we didn't see, because that is possible. But you're more than welcome to hang out and, tell us what you think. Story advisors. Dwayne was commenting they would have to have Claremont and Stern. Well, first off, there's no way Chris Claremont is going to deal with these people, Dwayne. Chris Claremont has not got the patience. He is OG wealthy. He's got FU money. He can do what he wants to do when he wants to do it. I assume Roger's in that same category. I don't know for sure, but no. Flerkens and Kamala Khan were the best parts of the Marvels. Okay. It's a kitty cat thing, isn't it, Penny? It's okay. You can tell me. I couldn't get into it. I actually thought it was almost like a satire of having that many cats with the girls, but that's headcanon stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, there are a lot of where the box wine jokes.
Yeah, it was a little on the node for the cats and the women thing. So I ended up liking Andor quite a bit. It surprised me. Yeah, a lot of people did. That's fine. I have my issues with it, but it was among the better of the Star Wars parts. So, but anyway, this scene stopped me a little bit. He just kept going and going, destroying their house. She's jumping around, and I can get a little bit of it. Oh, this scene. Oh my gosh, this shot. Let me see if we get this scene. Is where he gets the gun? Is it where he gets the gun?
Oh, you mean where he just sits in a chair for his fight scene?
Yeah, he sits in a chair and he has a gun and he shoots the window. Yeah, here we go. So before that shot, though, he misses. They're just randomly shooting. So this is a space. I mean, I'm assuming those are. First off, this is a Kree laser gun. So is it not able to breach the hull of the ship that they're in? Like he misses the first couple times until that one's in close range. He misses the first couple times. And I'm like, man, you're shooting a laser. I know this is my brain. I know I'm nitpicking. For those of you who like the show, I understand. But that's my brain. You got to bear with some of the nitpicking problems that I have. So yes, Penny likes cats. I got it. So Marvels was fun and enjoyable. Not a great movie in any way. Flerkens is the best part. Mark likes the cats too. Cool. Didn't work for me, but I understand. So anyway, I hated Fury. I think he's turned. Look how fat he looks. He looked like me. I look like that. That's what my body looks like. That's not Nick Fury to me. Nick Fury, even in his old age, would still be obsessed with being a kick butt spy. He wouldn't be missing as many times as he misses, and he would not be sitting in a chair. But that's, yeah. All right, so then we just kind of have a lot of exposition about everybody being in the same room together, because they really haven't been in the same room together. And then Carol does like old Carol stuff where she kind of like is a hothead and just starts to fly away. Because they don't know. Oh, that's right. They don't know where Kamala is. Kamala was blipped away, so they know that she's where the Kree are, so she would be in danger. So Carol just does the crazy I guess, emotional thing. Well, I don't know. What's the best way to explain
So
it, Shield?
they
Well,
don't
it's like
have a
she
way
just,
to get to where she is through the blipping, right? Because they don't want to change places anymore. So she's just going to literally fly there with her
yeah,
Superman-like powers. Um,
yeah,
and so she's going to fly to the planet.
yeah.
So the way it works out is they figure something happens to where they wind up, Monica Rambeau winds up getting there, and then she just shows up. Like it took her that long to fly there, and kind of thing happens.
So Monica and Fury were on the satellite, so they could have blipped down from the satellite, Star Trek style, like they did in Secret Invasion. That part I'm fine with, and they're all there together in the Earth part. But Kamala's not there; she's where the Kree are. But then, isn't this where Monica's like, I can't fly?
High school.
Right.
Come on, use your core.
I hate that
Yes,
scene.
she
This
can't
is
fly because she doesn't know that that's part of her power set, or they suspect it might be, but she hasn't trained in it. And this is where Nick Fury's like, "Come on, dig deep," and then I can't remember the whole.
Can you hear the audio?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So she kind of like hovers, like
Yeah, she's doing the Peter Pan.
Greatest American Hero style,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Right.
Hey, black girl magic.
Black Girl Magic. I was like, Black Girl Magic? What? Okay. Black Girl Magic. Is that a thing? Did anyone else pick up on Black Girl Magic? Because I like, again, I didn't watch reviews, so you guys have to hit me up on whose review I should watch. Because to me, that was just, I could only hear as like Black Girl Magic, and this is going to be clipped forever for sure. Yeah, Steven Seagal would be proud of that training, maybe. Jackson actually requested not to run. I guess they let him sit. Is that true, Joe? Wow. Brie Larson remarks about not being for white men. Very lame. Ooh. I'm not going to lie. I don't know how someone can see what Brie Larson says and enjoy anything she's in. Yeah, it's rough to separate the reality from it. Anyway, so that was a big thing for me, Black Girl Magic. And then so because they use their powers, now she doesn't know how to fly, right? So did Carol blip? I get confused. The blipping happened so fast, guys. I'm sorry. I got confused. Carol blips with her, right?
Right.
So now she's falling, and
So-
Monica's trying to save her. Okay, I got it.
Right. So she's trying to save her, and then because Kamala is now up in the air where Captain Marvel was, and of course Kamala can't fly.
Right. Okay. Sorry, guys. The blipping happens so many times. Sometimes when you're not watching, we can't play too much because Kamala does not know how to fly. So Black Girl Magic goes to save the day. She picked it up pretty quick, and she gets her. And then they are where we ended up. Where the Kree are? Yep, they're where the Kree are. So now they're in harm's way where the Kree are.
There's also a subplot of Monica is mad at Carol Danvers because she left and didn't come back, and Carol Danvers didn't want to come back until she had like fixed all the stuff she had supposedly broken. But it's been like 30 years. So when the last time that Carol Danvers saw Monica, she was a little girl. So that plays into this as well.
Yeah, I briefly touched on that because during the Kamala scene, Kamala's a big fan of Captain Marvel. Well, we don't really know what it is that she's done that's made her such a big fan. Because Captain Marvel hasn't been around much for 30 years. She came back. She fought in Endgame. She went to the funeral. There's in this opening sequence with Miss Marvel, we see her scene like, oh, she was saving the day over here. I was imagining myself be with her. Like, okay, so maybe that's what Kamala has seen. So her not seeing Monica seems like even a pretty witchy move to kind of make. It's pretty hard to dance around that responsibility. You know what I mean? So I thought this is what they were going for conflict. I thought this is part of the conflict. Carol has conflict with her because it was an abandonment syndrome. You were my surrogate parent. You left me. Okay. You're out there just messing around with the universe. They matter more than me. Fair enough. And we'll get to this sequence with Kamala with, saving people, but you can't save everybody thing, which happens here soon. All right, so here's the bracelet. There's Girl Boss. They've got Monica and Kamala, and this is one of the few men. He has like 3 lines. I don't know. I don't even know his name. Okay, so here's a problem I have. The hammer is purple, and I don't know why. So this sequence here is the first time we see the hammer turn purple. Right there's a shot. Why on earth was it purple? Like, let me take this down so you guys can see.
They never explain it.
That doesn't make any sense because the hammer so if you go back and watch Guardians, because I actually watched Guardians, and you see Ronan use it, he just kind of like force powers the Chitauri guy's neck, snaps his neck, and there's in that it turns purple when he gets the Power Stone. He puts the Power Stone in it, and of course that gets broken later. So I don't understand why it's purple, and she doesn't have a stone because the stones were destroyed. So that doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if any of you guys understand or know, or maybe there's been somebody who's like, well, we did this, but the scene got cut. I don't know. It's not in the final cut. That's all I knew. So, did I get everything? Thanks, Fury. You gave Monica a code name. Yeah, I know. Black Girl Magic. So freaking great. Yeah, I know, Zach. Is that what everybody's talking about? It's Black Girl Magic? Cool. Hashtag Black Girl Magic. I assumed it was a joke. It is not a joke. It needs to be clipped. I'm going to try to clip it. It's freaking great. I'm all for separating the art from the artist, but the artist also has to compensate for their mouth with their skill. Well, yeah. Brie's not terrible in what's it called? The Room? I think she's in Room, whatever it was. So maybe Kala got into the heroes through their comics.
Joseph,
Do they talk about the 616 comics in their universe? Because their universe is 19999. They're like 19,000 or 199,000. So the comics are in 616. So I don't know if they've made reference to the comics. I know that she talks about going to superhero conventions and things like this. She's aware of them. But if my point with Joseph was that as far as we know, Carol hasn't been around. And if she has been around, her not seeing Monica Monica's got a valid gripe. Basically what I was trying to say. I'm actually okay with that as being a gripe. Yeah. And perhaps the tech improved the that was my guess. Okay. If that's your guess, that's your guess. It's just not explained. Like, I don't understand why the hammer, and maybe I think they cheated, Joseph. They made it glow purple, so we're thinking that it's powerful like the Power Stone was, but it's really not. Maybe it's an amped up hammer because she's got the bracelet. I don't know. I can't believe B. Larson was paid $5 million to make this movie. T. Parrish was made $500. Vellani's made $1 million. Wow. But those contracts were negotiated like 1 million light years ago at this point, Penny.
Plus,
yeah,
Brie Larson does have an Oscar or whatever.
Yeah, Brie Larson's. Yeah. Brie Larson's going to make some money. Even as bad as all these movies are, there's no way you're getting Brie Larson for less than $1 million or $2 million for even like smaller films. That's she's already done that. So whereas Miss Paris has not. And Vellani just got a good deal, to be honest, because of the TV shows.
Yeah,
I think they built the whole thing around her, and they wanted her in for a long-term contract. So she's probably getting less per episode, and then she's got these big movie, and probably $1 million is nothing because in the grand scheme of things, they're going to make that money. So
right.
The comics exist in She-Hulk. Okay, you're right. Good call. Good call. It's hard to connect all those dots, though. They could give us a little. All right. So we're here with Girl Boss. She's got them captured. They're going across their thing. Well, they got one bracelet here. And this is where she sees the other bracelet. Is that right?
I believe so. No. She's talking about the bracelet, and Kamala's like, I'll just hide this under my shirt.
Right. And then they start fighting. See how she uses the hammer and it shoots purple and stuff? Like, I'm just like, wait a minute. When did it do that? That's not a thing. Okay, so Carol showed up. So now everybody's together.
Right. So this is where she literally just showed up from flying from Earth to here. Yeah. That's how long it took her. So
a few minutes.
Which is cool.
Okay.
She can do all that stuff. So then why is she getting beat down by Dar-Ben?
Yeah, she would be able to pulverize and atomize somebody. This is like the Superman, Spider-Man. They have to hold back their power so they don't like crush people thing. That's not discussed enough. Like, this is a huge element of them being able to hold. And I actually think there should be more of that in comics and superhero movies. Like, they can actually do things by accident. And there's dark stories. By the way, there's a great Black Adam miniseries, I think it is. But it's like, you see, because he's essentially a Superman, right? And Black Adam literally just flies through these soldiers that have him surrounded. He just flies through them, just And they just explode because he can fly as Superman, right? And you're like, wow, that is insane. I didn't think that was an option. Okay, yep, that can happen. So yeah, that should be. See, look at it. She's lit up purple. Why?
Well, I think the one thing that we might not be considering is that band might be giving her powers.
So it looks like it's powering her. Maybe
right.
not.
But
And
it
it's an
might also be
extension.
powering the hammer somehow, which kind of makes sense, I guess, if you're drawing it off of there.
All right, now so see Carol is powering up here. You can see her left hand.
And they don't switch, right? Or do they? Yeah, they did.
They did switch. Okay, she ended up over there, and then Kamala got the brunt of that. No, yeah, Kamala got the brunt of that blow. She should have been really, really hurt. Did it hit the bracelet? Sorry.
And that might be also because of her powers are derived from that bracelet to a point that might make Kamala immune. I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. It looks like it hits her in the chest. She'd just be dead. You can't take a Ronan the Accuser hammer to the chest. Oof, I don't know. This is rough. We're really taking some creative liberties on what the rules are with these sequences. Sorry, folks. Yeah, this is the don't think about it. It just kind of plays out kind of stuff. Yeah. So this was actually a funny line. This is why I think I don't know about you, but I felt like Iman Vellani is sometimes the best part of the movie, except when she's fangirling. When she's fangirling, it's almost excruciatingly unbearable. But here they leave her, and she's like, I can't fly. I thought this was actually done well.
Oh, and then the rest of the Kree crew, who's supposed to be bad guys, are just looking at her like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, see.
I can't fly.
I actually thought that was really, really good. That actually worked for me. That's actually one of the things I thought was the best moments in this, that kind of thing. So, what color are Kamala's constructs? If it's purple, it could be the bracelet. Okay. See, her colors are mostly purple. Yeah. I mean, I can assume all that. That's fine. I can work through all that. So, all right. So they're attacking this planet. This is the Skrull refugee planet, and she's there to take their air, and they're there to get them off the planet. So there she is. So, not to be super condescending, but they stole the Spaceballs story of stealing the air. They open a portal and it's just going to suck the air out, I guess. See? I'm like, wait a minute, we're just taking the air? Really? Was what was happening? And then they just randomly grab people and trying to save people and whatever, but it's like we're going to suck the atmosphere out, I guess. I couldn't get my head around on what Lady Ronan was trying to actually do here. Like, how are you going to take an atmosphere?
Basically just opens a portal over a planet. It sucks the air out here and equalizes the pressure there. But I mean, scientifically, there's a lot of problems. Like, it would take like a week to suck all the air out of that hole off of a planet.
Yeah.
Unless
hey,
there's
AJ, how you doing,
something
brother?
going on. You know what I mean? Some other kind of magic or something that's accelerating the process.
Yeah.
But by this point, you just go with it. And
I couldn't go with it. I literally just kept scratching my head here. Like, wait a minute. So we're using a Spaceball mega made thought process of. Anyway, it's just so you know, I was having problems with the whole Spaceballs thing here, and then we are. So she's not actually flying and using her powers to protect or save people. She's just standing on the ramp, and I was like, what is she doing? I thought she was over there where they are. And no, they're both there. And I'm like, wait, what the heck? Aren't you supposed to be able to save people? Like, there's people way up here on this, there's oh, sorry, I got to take the freaking thing down. There's people on these higher levels and stuff. It's like these girls, Monica can fly and Miss Marvel can use her constructs to save people. They're standing on the ramp just waving at people. I'm like, holy crap, what is happening? And what they do is they, it's all collapsing. Carol stops. There it is. Kamala does her bridge, like a bridge, and she saves some people before Carol gets her and says, "No, we got to go. It's all collapsing." we can't save everyone. The Skrulls believed that there was going to be a peace treaty, which was obviously a lie, but they believed it. And then we get the King Valkyrie story that I talked about earlier. I couldn't believe they did this scene, my friend. This made my head hurt. You were good with King Valkyrie showing up?
At this point, I was like, okay, whatever, I guess.
At this point,
Well,
chick in it and make her gay. Well, I don't think she's gay. She make her lame. Yeah, it literally was like, okay, you're walking into like them mocking you. Like, why are you? Like, oh, I really was just surprised. And she's dressed in her Men in Black gear, and it was. And then again, is this before or after Secret Invasion? Or so one of two things. They either move the Skrulls, and these are now the mass influx of Skrulls that are now on the Earth. That's the issue in Secret Invasion, or they are more Skrulls being taken to Earth who are now more enemies of the state based on the results in the end of Secret Invasion. One of the two. Either way, I didn't think either of those solutions were good.
This was a faction that was like out here, that was different than the ones on Earth. Somehow.
Well, I thought so too, but then I'm like, well, then you took them to Earth and you just made more problems for Earth. Anyway,
right? I mean,
yeah, the link is there for you guys if you guys want to help try to come in here and talk to us about this. And Cannoli, listen, Shield Wall watched it too. So, and some people like the cats. I've had two people come in, Mark and I think Penny. They like cats, so they're all down with the flerkens. And
Yep.
Joseph is a fan. He said it was great. He liked this movie a lot. So,
I have
to each their own.
I have some friends that said that they did like it, but they tend to like they liked Captain Marvel and basically because it's got girls in it.
Yeah, I understand. And they made Brie look. Look, Brie looks and behaves in a much more likable manner than she does in Captain Marvel, by far. Like, she's significantly better. Now, her character has a major issue at the end of the movie, but at least the premise of her character is radically different than we've seen before. Let me keep moving. I got to keep moving because I'm on the clock a little bit. So this is a sequence where now she's delivering the air. Because it happened that fast. Like the transformation to the people is that fast. Take your mask off. You can actually breathe air. Didn't I do great? Aren't I the best? And they're cheering her on, which is what you would. And it's fine. I just, with like we were talking about before, it would take so long. I don't quite understand logistically, like the Mega Made physics of you gathered air and put it here and it just magically fixed things. I thought, like you said earlier, it would have been easier just to take some other planet. I don't even understand why we're going through all this. Like, if you got the bracelet, you got your hammer, and you got a Kree army, just go take another freaking planet that's got all those things.
Here's the other thing. The way that spoiler alert, they want to steal the air and the water and the sun. Well, the very first thing you should steal is the sun, because if you have water and air, but you have no sun, your planet's going to be in a perpetual nuclear winter. Or whatever it is, because the sun isn't totally destroyed. I guess it's just not as hot.
Yeah, it's like they have some light, but it's not. It's obviously not healthy. I think that the implication wouldn't be they don't have a sun. It's the fact that the sun isn't. They have done something, and maybe they've gone Highlander 2 on us, right? They've blocked out the sun, or they've created something. We don't know. They didn't tell us. Something has happened, and the sun is not giving them the resources they need to have a functional environment. Fair enough. And you're right. They should have addressed the sun first. Or, like I said before, again, this is all like, why didn't you just go to Earth then? Because Earth had all three. Like, okay. So, so now we get to the girl conflict scene with them discussing, you never came back. This is what Shield Wall was talking about earlier. You never came back. I waited for you. You were saving the galaxy. I'm smart girl now. I know all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Again, if this was the conflict that we needed, so again, we had a little bit of this. Now we get this culmination of this. We saw with Kamala that you're trying to save everybody. You can't save everybody. So I thought we were going to deal with this triangle of turning on Carol, where both ladies would have an issue with her, and they would have to come to some sort of like coming to Jesus moment, if you will, like of that. It never really happens that way. So. Commercial. Yeah, this is what I thought we should have Because the problem that I have is so much of this keeps getting interrupted with her being a fangirl. And I can't, I just couldn't. I'm like, look, you just saw your hero not save everyone and take you out of the battlefield. So that needed to be what was resolved, not you fangirling out, trying to come up with names and all the jokes and Marvel humor. And by the way, it's clear they're trying to showcase how good looking Brie is. They have her run around in this like white tank top with her uniform around her waist. And then poor Monica, they have her kind of frumpy looking in her white uniform.
During this shoot.
Maybe that I would feel better knowing that's actually what they did.
Maybe it was the other lady.
And I can tell you from the show, Sheila, you tell me too. I thought Kamala was way prettier in the show. Like she looks like a pretty young girl in this show. Many times they have her looking like just very like this, very slobbing, just very in her t-shirt. Just I thought she was just a cute little teen girl. And that's fine. And this girl, I thought it's all about showcasing how pretty Brie is against everybody else, in my opinion. So this is them just trying to decipher the bracelet. It's all about the bracelet and the powers. And they're trying to piece things. See this? I hate these shots. Why are there shots like this? Like I don't. That's on Nia DaCosta. Nia DaCosta is doing these kind of things to me. And yeah, it just keeps going, guys, before we get back to it. So it is a lot of girl talk. So we went through, I felt like the first half hour or so moved relatively quickly. And then we had girl talk that really interrupted the pace for me a lot. Like it just, and then we didn't resolve the conflict. They spent all this time like kind of creating conflict. And then we just kind of talked our way through it and went right back to everything. Like what happened? What?
And again, this goes back to, I think that there is a better version out there somewhere where additional, because then they have flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, this is part 2 of the girl. I should just skip through this. So what they do is they're talking. When they were fighting, Kamala, I think, remembered there was a map, like an electrical map. So when they were fighting, so they're going to use that Kree machine to memory hunt through everything. See that map, but sadly Carol and Monica's memories get interwoven around what actually happened to Maria dying of cancer. It's revealed how she actually came and visited Carol, so that's actually another trip to Earth that didn't involve seeing Monica. And Monica's freaking out about it, can't handle this. And by the way, and then suddenly Bree's in a black tank top instead of a white one. I don't know when that happened, but okay. Anyway, so girl talk, plans.
So right here, this is why that I think that there's a something changed. We're missing a portion of the story that they cut around when they edited.
Yeah, because Kamala's in the same T-shirt, but they're in different outfits.
Right.
And I don't totally understand. Well, we didn't get context of when all that took place. This is the phone call home with Mama and Nick Fury.
Why he's bringing them to the space station? Other than just in case Kamala shows up there. And
wasn't there a comment about keeping them safe? What was it?
Right.
They thought the Kree would come back or something?
I say we do it.
There's a line. Yeah,
Get
there
to
it is.
Magna and separate Darkman from that bangle.
No, there's a little line there. It just popped up. Nick Fury had a comment. He told us that it would be dangerous if we stayed there. So that's why he took them there. He thought the Kree might come back or something, or I don't know. They destroyed the house, so the house is a mess. So who knows? I don't know. It works out for the plot, though, right? And during that conversation with the map, they figured out, they're after air, water, and sun. They're going to go for water because this planet is like 90 jillion % water, and it's the water planet. We're going to go to the water planet. And in the middle of going to the water planet, so this is the talkie talk with the cat, and then on there, we're going to go to a water planet. And oh gosh, this is so brutal. Flying in a spaceship to get to the water planet. Okay. So this was a part where there aren't a lot of, so how do I explain it? I didn't feel like this movie was quite as cringe as most of the other the new Disney stuff. I felt like this is one of the few moments with her little "I'm a big deal here" moments. because they're going to this water planet, and come to find out she has like a, what do you call it, like a plutonic? Could that be the appropriate word for the marriage? She has like a political marriage, right?
It's a marriage of convenience, like a political marriage, like they used to do in Europe back in the old days to cement relationships or treaties and things. So, in order for the ruler of this planet to be legitimate, he had to take a wife or something, and or a spouse, and somehow she wound up having to be that spouse. So they're like friendly and stuff, but they're not like in love or anything.
Yeah, and this is directly in the comic book, so everybody knows this is not a MCU Kevin Feige thing. This was actually in the comic books that they wrote. So, Joseph, what you're saying here about the talking, the abandoned ark, and all this kind of thing, this is kind of what we're talking about, though, because it creates like a very inconsistent and an uneven story. Like a lot of these kind of things, like you feel like not all the context is here. Something's missing, like this got changed or that got changed, and they kind of piecemealed it together. They cut so much out of what maybe was originally done, but that doesn't mean I give them credit for it maybe being there, because I don't know what was there. I don't know what the original intent was. All I can judge is what the actual final product was. So that's what you're getting. You're getting my reaction to that. So this is I'm a big girl here. We're going to this water planet to hopefully save them. She puts on this weird headdress, and they show up to this planet. And here is Shield Wall. I'm trying to find kind words.
So the people only communicate, or they mainly communicate through singing. And apparently, if you don't sing to them,
so excited that you're home.
If you don't sing to them, they won't understand what you're saying, which doesn't make any sense.
My face was what her face is right there. My face was like, what in the name of... Now, I will admit, I knew this. I knew how bad this was going to be. I saw it in the trailer. I knew exactly what the dance sequence was going to be. I'm familiar with that sequence in the comic books. I thought it was terrible in the comic books. This is one of these things that does not... Even if this was true, it does not translate well for me. Like, I feel like this is just a contrived reason to have a song and dance number, maybe try to appeal more to the Pakistani or the fans of Miss Marvel and Aman Vellani, but I couldn't. I was like cringed out, but so bad in this sequence. This was brutal.
Even good. It wasn't even good Bollywood. Like the music.
No. It's good. Terrible. It's very, very cheap. It's very Disney cheap Bollywood. Like it's not.
The ending of Mirror Mirror was a much better dance sequence.
That's a good reference.
Yeah, much better.
But see how Aman Vellani really is believably in it, though? Look at her way she's into it. Like she feels like a kid that's really gets into it and stuff. Monica kind of does, and Bree's left like, oh, Lord.
I liked the planet, though, like how it, like the architecture and how everything looked, and I thought that was fine.
You think it's an actual location? They built some sets or something?
I think they built some sets.
Yeah, I think they built something.
Like a nice place to live.
Yeah, I have no problem with the.
Also,
they changed the suit. They changed the costume. So, I hated that.
You didn't like that?
This is
I actually liked her
husband.
Dress. I liked her dress. I wish she would have just been in that thing the whole time.
So this is the husband. This is the prince or the king or whatever he is, right. And he magically changes the outfit. They have this little dance, and she's in like this. Okay, so, and again, I know people are going to hate on me for saying it this way. Part of the reason that some of these ladies have these outfits and they're put into these like jumpsuits with jackets and they're doing whatever is because they can cosplay. It's been part of the surveys. Everybody knows this why they do it. This dress just reeks of a dress that they can sell and make a ton of money on cosplayers for. I'm telling you right now what that dress is for. So, because look, she's not in the dress again.
Yeah, because he can. Apparently, he has the power to change her clothes. Somehow.
Dude, why did he change her back?
I don't know.
See, he's bilingual. He can understand regular words too. I thought it was a little bit straight. Yeah, meanwhile, on Earth, these brain-looking pod things just show up. So we don't have enough subplots trying to keep track of. We have to kind of keep a scorecard now to keep up with more subplots and little things. It's an infestation. It could be a weapon. We don't know. We have this dude, this I don't know. He's this big black dude that works on the space station with this other lady that works on the space station. I don't know anything about them. Don't care. They're there. They have a few lines. Just keep in the back of your mind, this is going on. We'll come back to that. Back on the planet, he changes their outfits again. So they kind of have sort of like uniform that looks like what they would wear. Like, I thought it was fine. I didn't have a major aversion to it. I sure thought that I would have kept her in the dress, but I guess they're under invasion. We can't keep her in the dress because he changes too into his fighting leotard. I'm taking in all of the costuming and all of that, and they show up.
I also thought that her ship looked kind of cool. It had like the other ships around it, and it looks sinister and kind of dark, and so you get that they mean business.
Yeah, I don't have any major problems with any of this. It is what it is. I want to see the hammer, though. I'm trying to see. See, she's shooting purple out of it and not... I know I'm hung up on that. It just really bothers me because that's not at all the power set that's been set around the hammer, and it just bothers me like crazy. Yeah, everything with the Kree are just kind of a hodgepodge of what they look like and how they behave. And then Monica's a joke compared to this Kree. She doesn't even have really any powers because they're not supposed to use powers or they'll blip. So they're trying to fight without using all of that. So, Shewal, what was your face when he tells her to use her scarf?
I
was like, what?
Like, okay, so maybe it's like this like weighted weapon thing, and it's got a little bit of an ability to control it, is what I thought it was going to be, but it doesn't it kind of works like that. But so the whole point of her using a scarf is her not being able to use her powers, so she won't blip. And I just think it could have been implemented a little better than they did, because I don't know in the comics if she can use her scarf like that or not.
She doesn't have to. She can do Mr. Fantastic stuff.
Right.
So she doesn't, it's completely different power. So they've changed it so much that we don't even keep because see, how is this not using her powers?
Exactly.
Like, she's able to do it 4 or 5 times before she blips away. And what they do is they try to say, they use it at the exact same time. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 steps that she makes until Carol or Monica uses their power, and then that's when she blips away. But see how much happens before that happens, before the blip happens? It's just a lot. So it's just, again, it gets hard to follow. It's inconsistent, and I just kind of have a hard time with it. So I don't know. I'm one of these things. I'm gonna get back to chat here, guys. I'm sorry. Let me. I got to check in with Mrs. Pops real quick. She was calling me. She was messaging me about something. I want to make sure everything was okay.
There does become a point in the plot where, because there does become a point where them using their powers stops being relevant. Like they'll stop switching if they do. So then they're able to like actually fully.
Yeah, this is the first
powers.
phase of it not being consistent as they try to get this bracelet off. And then what they end up doing is they start figuring. So Lady Ronin figures out that she has the other bracelet. That's pretty much what happens. They appear to be victorious and taking water. That's what appears to be the situation. It appears to be sucking up the water. We end up they lose basically, and they're trying to get away on the ship, and they're being chased, and they end up crashing on this planet, which is like the wheat planet. I don't even know what I don't know what they're growing there. But it looks habitable.
They went through an unstable jump portal, and it just took them here. So no one knows where it's at.
Yeah, so we're just on some sort of planet, because all I kept thinking was, well, where are we? And then I thought, why couldn't the Skrulls live here? But I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know. It's like we just don't. We're not supposed to think about it. Like this is I said when I evaluated Secret Invasion, the only way Secret Invasion works is if you keep your blinders on and you think you're in this little bubble, and the rest of this MCU stuff doesn't exist. I feel the exact same way with the movie like this. Like there's no way you can kind of think much into it. Otherwise, you're like, Fury, call the Guardians. Fury, call Stark. or well, I guess Stark would be dead.
That is
So
the
call
biggest-
somebody. You just
To me, that's the
Doctor
biggest battle.
Strange.
Right.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. You have to do this, right?
Same with this. They're going to come steal the sun. You think some other people might show up to try to stop that, you know?
And the irony is, it's the perfect. Okay, well, yeah. So okay, we gotta come back to this. It's the perfect excuse to have a bunch of cameos. Like they want to have all of this nostalgia bait and stuff like that. I got to be honest, and I'm not trying to say I wanted to see this guy. I did not. But it could have been an excuse for them to have like 6 more women people showing up from the MCU. I mean, it would have not been what I wanted to see, but okay, you can at least justify it being part of the story. So, I just figure after 30 years, they'd carry better hammers. Laugh out loud. The scarf has potential. I feel like I heard it was a quick Easter egg of some kind, but I forget. Okay. Haven't seen the scarf in that way. I don't quite get the 30-year reference because of the hammer, because the hammer dates back to Guardians and has been in other stuff. It's part of the lore that kind of runs all the way through. So, yeah. All right. So we get back to the brain things. They start hatching, and they start hatching the kitty cats. So that's what happens with that. So we start getting kitty cats everywhere.
There's also has it happened yet? The power wave that disables all the escape pods and burns up the.
It's coming up next because
Yeah,
we have to get the kitty cats out everywhere. Here come all the kitty cats. So we saw this in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler.
So, yeah, these are basically tribbles.
So, yeah, it's trouble. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, trouble with tribbles.
There's like a power wave. So now the little sword thing is just, it's not going to make it. You got to get everybody off, right? So now it's got to come up with some sort of evacuation process. And what they decide to do is have the kitty cats just start swallowing up people to save them. So imagine you had this many people, they're not going to fit on a ship. But if you have the flerkens absorb this many people into this many cats, then you're only carrying around 100 cats. That's pretty much the thing. So the Marvel universe is a shared universe. Yeah. Well, when we want it to be. I don't know, Shield Wall, if the flerken have been used in this way. It just felt everything with the cats and all the women characters and all. I just felt like we're just running down this weird stereotype of this. It's all the criticisms. It's all the stuff people keep saying about MCU and all the stuff people keep throwing around. Like, you guys are walking into the same vein of what you don't want to hear everybody say. So I don't understand what you want. You're doing things that are going to pour gas on all of those critics. And I assume that's what's been happening over the last 5 days. Is people have just been just torching this film because of all these things. It's completely nuts how bad that stuff is.
To me, it's obvious that there's a better film in there somewhere.
I don't know.
Within the cuts.
Plot needs us to keep Kamala's family outside the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Makes no sense why we didn't, I'm like, okay. I mean, I think you would use your scientists and your crew would be more important than them. All right. Lady Ronan versus Carol. This will be the end of the Kree. So she starts to try to talk about like what actually happened, and they all start fighting, and somehow she's able to hold her own. Now, I don't have enough of a frame of reference of really Monica's power set because we really haven't had much of experience with it. But Kamala now is actually powerful enough, and with Carol being basically able to hold her own against like Thanos level, it's absurd that the three of them last this long against her. It's just silly. Just silly. So she's there. Oh, that's right. Okay. So she's doing this, the evil villain fake out, right? This is the villain fake out. Like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I won't kill you. I won't kill you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill Kamala because we switched. And you're like, and it's glowing red. If it was a power stone, she'd already be dead. So it's not that. Okay. Get the bracelet. So now she has both bracelets. So I'm like, okay. I don't know what this means, but we're there. Let's find out what happens. and then it's sort of like pretty fast, right? So they just basically tell her you can't handle this much energy, you can't do it, whatever.
Because she
just,
in order to steal the sun, she needs to open a bigger rift than she has previously.
Yeah, so it won't be this little tiny hole. She's got to open a mega hole, and I don't know that. So one of my big issues with the film is I don't totally understand like the sun thing, and we're going to get to why it's a bigger problem in a minute. But I'm like, was her plan to steal sun energy like through the hole to generate the other sun? You can't take a whole sun through one of these holes, so that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, she was going to strip the atmosphere off the sun basically and put it on her sun to like reignite it. Because apparently that's what's wrong with her sun is all the fissile material is gone.
Right. All right. So Monica and Carol are flying towards her. She's going to put her bands together as Carol flies. Monica's actually covering Kamala so she can survive. So that's what's actually happening here. Before I get to what happens, let me see. Multi-million-dollar feature, and it has to resort to being a stupid pet video. Well, it definitely resorted to the lowest common denominator of using the cats, and it worked because a lot of people love the cats, which is, I guess know your audience. I was very distracted by the cats. Again, this is like list all of these things that critics say about your franchise right now, and you're just walking into more of those criticisms. But Joseph, I forgot about Guardians. Yeah, I did not make the triple connection. No, they make a little more sense. Yeah. It's definitely felt that way, Joe. I felt like it's a great shield wall comment indeed. I agree. Yeah, a lot of triples. And I'm guilty with the triple thing, by the way. If you had to survey me, the favorite TOS episodes, I got to be honest, as cheesy and silly as it is, I love watching the triple episode. It's probably the one I've watched the most. And I know that's stupid and silly. It's not even like other than just a silly, cheeky video episode. But, sometimes you just want to have fun. It works for me. So she sort of like puts her bands together, and then she sort of like, they're fighting towards the hole. Because I kept trying to figure out, like, how are we going to resolve this and whatever. Because something is, I don't know. They're setting up like an explosion, basically. And there's fighting over the bands, and all that's happening. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And I will say this, too, again. I know we keep coming back to it at least a little bit. It is like we're only like 80 minutes. It's not like we've been sitting through this film. It's over 2 hours long. It's pretty fast. All right, and then we get to the shot. She pushes Carol with her feet and then puts them together. All right.
Right, and they're like, "You don't do it. You can't contain that much power."
Right. I don't know how they would know that. Right? We just assume they're making assumptions that we're just going to have to go along with. We don't really know why somebody can't have to or handle it. She's a Kree, and then she just sort of like vaporizes.
Just like anybody that would hold the
Infinity Stone.
Infinity Stone.
The Power Stone.
Yeah, the Power Stone. Yep.
So this is why they thought whenever Star-Lord touched it, they thought he would just vaporize like this. So you feel like the quantum bands are supposed to be very similar to the Power Stones in some ways, but it's never really explained. We don't know. But she starts to vaporize, and when she explodes, it like breaks the hole into the giant hole that they were afraid of having. So no matter what, so despite all of their efforts, they failed, and they have a big hole to deal with again. Okay. Hey, now we're into that vague ending. So yeah. Welcome,
I just
Joe.
realized that because it malfunctioned on her, what's going to happen to the sun is maybe not exactly going down how she intended it. So it's just sucking it off of there and bringing it in, but it's not going where it needs to go. Like there might have been a different way that she was going to do it. So this is not. She didn't intend for this giant hole to rip open.
Right.
And so this is not a controlled reaction like the other ones were.
Okay. You can see the bracelets are floating there. Yep. So that we just need to know the bracelets are not, they didn't die with her. They're right there. Right. The hole just sort of kind of like starts unpacking itself and creates this problem. This was a major problem I had. No bracelets. and yet Kamala's all lit up. And we really jumped over all this sequence with them fighting and things like that. They've been using powers and not changing. So remember the whole blip thing that we've been doing this whole movie? That stopped and went away. It just didn't happen anymore. So,
well, I think the jumping around has stopped because the bracers are
right. But right before that, before the second bracelet, you got to that other scene where they're fighting with it because Carol uses her powers, but there's no blipping.
Right.
So they come back.
Maybe it's a proximity to. No, that wouldn't be true either because
they don't. That doesn't make sense either. I know.
Yeah,
I tried to think it through. I couldn't come up with anything. And they just you saw all this happen, and they just give Kamala both bracelets.
Right. Which
and
should
like,
make
what?
her like ridiculous. Oh, but
light up.
But so they give her both. But did she put the other one on yet?
No, she does right here.
So, okay, here she does. Right.
These bagels travel through space and time.
Okay. So nothing happens. She doesn't light up. She doesn't turn purple. She doesn't vaporize. She doesn't do anything. So if you didn't watch Miss Marvel, you don't know the other end credit scene was, there's something weird about you, Kamala. You are also, your genes, your cells, you're mutated. You're mutated. And they play the X-Men music because she's now a mutant, right? So this is the scene. Just
Kamala,
so
there's something different in your genes. Like a mutation.
And I'll save you my reaction to that. But yeah, that's the only explanation on why none of those things happened to Kamala.
And
but I had to know that.
Why she might be able to not need the bangles anymore to utilize her powers or something. Or she never needed them in the first place. And,
yeah.
Something like that. She had to just find the inner strength within herself.
I guess. And this is another one of these like Monica just knows, like this is another scene because there's a couple scenes where this happens where they just like Monica will just go, this is a blah, 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 blah. She just starts spewing off like crazy scientific mambo jumbo to make an explanation. And her theory is if they combine all their energy into her, she can take that energy out there to the giant hole and close it. And again, we contrive it this way because what they do is they give her the energy boost, and then she can only open it. She can only close it from the inside, though, because it's folding inward because it exploded inward. I thought that was like, I don't understand why we would have the 3 dimensions that way for a time-space portal hole. They're treating it as like an actual physical entity, like the panels of a solar panel are collapsing inward. And I'm like, it's supposed to be like a quantum hole, like a wormhole, I thought, but now it's not. It has a physical manifestation that she's physically repairing in a way. I don't know about you. I hated all this. I could not believe this was so dumb.
I mean, I got where they were going with it for the story. They had to.
Well, they just made it happen that way. It doesn't make any sense. Like why they would be panels instead of just being like an actual hole.
Yeah. I don't know how the technology works for the portal thing.
They don't explain it. Whatever. The Marvels didn't need anything. Didn't need to do anything. Dar-Ben would have taken care of herself, meaning this whole mess could have been done 10 minutes long. Yeah. So if she had tracked so if she'd gotten the one bangle and went on her little map thing and they go, oh, Kamala's got the other one, got it from Kamala. She done it, vaporized herself, boom, done. And they would have fallen right there into the floor and Kamala could have just picked them up, put them on. There you go. It only jumps around the 2 use their powers at the same time. Yeah, I understand, but they cheat at times, Joe. They do. And I skipped entirely over them doing the practice round where they practice not doing that with them jumping rope and stuff. I'll talk about. It's a scene for the ladies, Shield Wall. I could not relate. I was like, oh God, checked out. So sorry guys, I got to wrap up. I get a little long. Anyways, that's kind of how it closes. Monica closes it from the other side. They go back and reconcile with Sam Jackson, and they say, "Oh no, Monica's gone." And then I guess Captain Marvel is just told, "Listen, just go fly into the sun with all your juice. Just go juice their sun, and you can bring them out of darkness." And that's what she kind of does. So I didn't pick up on any sort of like setup for that or explanation on why or how that could happen. It just sort of does. Did I miss something? Did you pick up on anything?
Kamala gives her one of the bracelets in order to power her up to do that. Is why she can power the star.
Right. Then we cut to what's happening. They're there on the farm. She only has one bracelet on now instead of two. They sit in an airplane. I thought this was just wasted conversation. Didn't go anywhere. Didn't do anything for me.
Also, I don't know because when she powered the sun, if it ate the bracelet, which is why she didn't bring it back and give it to Kamala and be like, "Here's your second one" or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they even discuss it. So I don't think she has it on.
No,
she doesn't have
she only has one.
Yeah, but I don't think Carol has the other one either. Oh yeah, Carol has the other bracelet on. Yeah, okay. Carol has one bracelet and she has the other bracelet. Okay. I didn't pick up on that right away, so I'm glad we went back. Okay, credit scene 1 is set up. Kate Bishop. Yeah, I know. Kamala recruiting. I know. Blatant rip. I know. Good to see a Joker. Yeah, it's fine. I get it. I'm putting a team together. You know, she gets Kate. It's like a girl. It's like a young teen team, I guess. And then the other scene. Yeah, here we go. Here's the other scene, which makes even less sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Monica wakes up. She's there with Monica. Was with her mom Maria and Beast from X-Men. And then whenever she stands up, I went too far. It messed up. She's in like that white and black suit and she's called Binary. So, and that is from the comic books. That's a character in the comic books. So,
and she doesn't know who she is. She's like mom, and the other person's like, I don't know who you are.
So she has some sort of like memory loss of some kind. I'm not totally sure that they define anything. She's just in that. But the other thing that I want to say that I picked up on that I don't know if anyone else has talked about, but Beast makes a comment about giving an update to Charles, because I thought, well, this is in the Fox universe, but it's in the Fox universe where Charles is still there. It's not in the universe where we saw Maria and Charles in Doctor Strange Mom, because in there Charles dies. Mm-hmm. So this wouldn't be before Doctor Strange Mom. So I'm saying it's like I don't know when that takes place. I don't know. I did. Oh, my brain. I'm sorry, Shia Wall. Probably something you may not have thought of, but that's how my brain worked.
Yeah, it's if you haven't watched all of this other stuff and you don't know the comic book history, and if actually it's worse if you do, because now you don't really know what's going on. Oh yeah,
I get more. Yeah.
And it's
all, well, they don't follow the rules. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, because the quantum bands are associated with Quasar. I mean, there's just so many. We could just go down a whole rabbit hole. But anyway, well, we watched it so you didn't have to, folks. So we went a little longer than I thought. So I thought we would be done. So I thought I would be closer to the length of the movie. I ran a little bit long, but that's okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. I don't know. Any other last thoughts you got for folks? What are you thinking?
I guess I can see how some people like the movie better than I did. Like I said, to me it was better than the last Ant-Man movie for a lot of different reasons. I just can't. I guess I'm going away from it getting the feeling that like I said, that there's a better movie out there, better version of it out there somewhere with different cuts or added stuff that has more, extrapolates more on it. The only thing is that just the basic concept of stealing the stuff, the water and the air, and I don't know.
Yeah, I can't get my head around any of that. Really, and the sun just is like just retarded. Like that doesn't even make sense to me. Like I still go back to, if they have this much tech and this is what they're able to do, and they have an army and they have the portals and the ships, then just go take another planet that has all the resources you need. It seems like such a waste of time to do all of this. And they don't really develop any of the character arcs. Like they set up there was a good reason to have conflict between the three main characters, and they don't really ever deliver on that either. They just sort of like, I don't know. I was going to say talk it out, but that's really not even a fair. They just sort of like just don't deal with it. It just sort of like just goes away. They spend time together and it just doesn't talk about it. Yeah.
Kamala's parents, like, just all of a sudden didn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, I get they're popular. People like them from the show. They want to see more of them, but it was just the way that they were integrated in the movie was not good. It should have been more like it was in the TV show there, where she's dealing with them, trying to get permission to do stuff and whatever.
And they could have shown up at the very end scene where they're on the planet, right? They show up and hug her, like Fury delivered her back, like, oh, I got your parents here to pick you up, basically, whatever kind of thing. So,
and I wish they would have utilized.
Exists on Earth where Monica wound up. That's good. That's good. Yeah. Save you some money. Yeah. Sorry, brother. It's I don't know that I saved you any time though, but hopefully maybe you had some more fun with it. I can't go there with Joseph. He likes this movie a lot. I can't go there with the cats. I thought that was all on point with this whole cliche of wine mom women, cat ladies. I just couldn't get there. I think the premise is dumb. It's the biggest thing for me is Brie Larson is not as off-putting. They made her character, Carol Danvers, appears to be more vulnerable than she's ever been in the others. And I still don't know what her weaknesses are, but she doesn't look like the same character that could take a punch from Thanos. So I don't totally understand why all those things have changed other than that they just wanted it to. Let me think. I hated Monica Rambeau's character in this. She's so dumb, touching things. Just, I'll touch this, I'll touch that, I'll just do this. I know everything, but it's like that's not her. She's so smart. She's so strategic in the comic book. It just bothers me. Aman Vellani was fine at times, and then the weird fangirl stuff and all the little Marvel humor things just was overdone for her. I don't know about better or worse than Ant-Man. I just kind of have this blob of the bottom. Right? Because I think Eternals is the worst one. I mean, if I nod off in a Marvel movie, man, it's bad. You've hit rock bottom if I'm nodding off in a movie. I would probably sit through 90 minutes of this again before I'd sit through Captain Marvel because I find that movie so off-putting and uninteresting and unappealing in every way. I've no desire to sit through Ant-Man again, though. But I didn't sit through the second Ant-Man again. So I've only watched one more than one time. So I guess they're all in that same category of I've seen them once and don't have any desire to sit through them again kind of thing. So I guess it kind of fits in that bottom blob of this bottom. I don't even know what to call them. They're like this just this tier of other stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't really want to sit through Black Widow again. I don't want to sit through. I just don't. They're all. So I think Guardians 3 is probably the better of the more recent films. I would say. Maybe Doctor Strange Mom I'll sit through because I know there's going to be a third movie. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. So, yeah. Brother, thank you for hanging out with me, though. We went through a movie and hopefully save some people some time or money. They can put us on 1.5 to 2 speed and kind of zip through it pretty well.
Yeah, no problem. I kind of wasn't expecting to be available at all for anything tonight, and it just kind of worked out that way. And I just really jumped in just to kind of watch your stream and kind of add my 2 cents. But I guess since the fact that I did actually pay to see this movie, but see, I didn't want to just be, I'm going to badmouth the movie and never see it,
No, look, I understand. And people, you guys can decide on your own what you want to do or not do and how you want to spend your money. I'm not judging. I have my little strategy of trying to make it through and when I can make it to a screener or not a screener and those kinds of things. But I wish I could say I enjoyed it more or that I could felt like I just don't know where we are because I feel like this is still a casualty or residual from our MCU woke, put a chick in it and make her gay or lame phase. I don't know what we're going to have next. I just don't. I don't know if this really sets anything up other than like, oh yeah, we'll have X-Men someday. Or, we're going to put together some young Avengers or new Avengers. Or like, okay, well, we all kind of saw both of those pieces sort of out there. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's my general take on it. Let me check comments one last time, and we'll say goodnight. So let's see. I get where you're coming from, Pops. I remember Monica leading the Avengers. Yeah, listen, man. Dwayne turned me on to Avengers 255. Yeah, Avengers 255 is this beautiful cover with Monica, and it's just this perfect era of just time. Oh, I'm like, oh man, yes, that was when it was so good. So, yes. Thank you, Awesome One, for hanging out with us, my friend. Yeah, all snaps. Yeah. Yeah, also, yeah, Hank does call Monica, no, Hank calls Maria binary. So in their universe, Maria is the Captain Marvel, but in that universe, like there's a comic book where that character is not Monica's character, it's Maria, and that's binary. So that's what that, yeah. Yeah, that's Carol's handle when she was augmented with the Shi'ar after they had her power stolen by Rogue. Yeah, so that, again, the X-Men universe, she's binary. Yeah, who knows? So that's, I don't know. Yeah. Chris, we don't know. X-Men. Yes, X-them. No, the rumor was, just so you guys know, put a pin in this, the rumor was that film was going to be called The Mutants, not X-Men. It was going to be called The Mutants. So won't rule that out until I hear otherwise. So we'll see. JT Gunn, I'll be on with him. I got a recording with him this week, and then I'll be on his show on Thursday. So great. Thanks for popping in, my friend. We're headed out the door. So Sheol, my brother, thanks again for hanging out, man. It's been great. Appreciate all of you guys being here for so long. It's been amazing hanging out. And there you go, guys. Many of you asked for this. You wanted to have me break it down, watch it for you, so you didn't have to. And I gave you as much as I could tolerate. It was rough. I guess technically I've watched this twice now, and I don't plan on watching it again. So there we go. Take care, everybody. Till next time, I am Pops.
I'm Ross. All I do is chill. My life is a thrill, for real, Bob Ross. I be too calm for the drama. You don't wanna cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross.